And the first piece of this was that slow roll is about connection and safe passage. So we have a group of community members that slow roll is built around, and that group of community members is called Squad. And Squad is a developmental opportunity for people who want to use a bike in a bigger way in their life. And so what really the workings of it is really an adult earn a bike program. So by your commitment and community, and you're leading the programs in Squad and going through the trainings, we actually give you an adult bike, and we have a weekly stipend for your participation. But they are trained and taught as leaders. And the fundamentals of a slow roll in terms of the way we guide is learning to lead a ride that has a route that is always 7 to 10 miles, that the speed of the ride is 7 miles to 9 miles an hour, which if anyone is, have you ever worked to hold a ride at 7 miles an hour? That is a challenge. And that they are responsible for our pre-bike tune-up fix-up that we set up. We start every ride with a DJ. We actually have a community meal is always the focal point and ending point of a meal. And that those community meals are built around community gardens and a community chef. We have a very simple strategy of greens and proteins at every meal. And again, it really becomes about this event to do that. Every route has a theme, and every one of those themes is steeped in connecting to community. And it can be many, many, many things. And we have actually had rides that were focused on community healing, for example, where a young person may have been killed. And we really would then use slow roll as an opportunity to reclaim the community. We would ride past the location, make ourselves visible, because we also see slow roll as a strategy for community safety, and which and I don't know if you've heard, Minneapolis is going through, everybody in the country is going through the gun violence uprising happening in community. And so we are actually working with our safety communities around doing this. And so we very intentionally changed the intention of our slow roll rides and compare it to our major Taylor events. And I love this community. We were having 15 people, 20 people on a ride if it was big, and doing that. Over the last years, in our most recent slow roll history, we've been averaging, our typical ride right now has 75 to 100 people. Last summer, because I think people really rediscovered their mental health and well-being and nature as part of a response to COVID-19. Our rides, our largest ride was 275 people. Our smallest ride was about 125 people. And we have actively worked to get bikes in the hands of people. And again, this idea of community well-being, community health, active as a strategy for the healing that we need right now. And it gives us the ability to shape ourselves and our intention to really the community needs. And I think that is really the big lesson for us around slow roll, is this idea of how do we position this as a strategy for achieving the community's aspirations that it has for itself. And when you sit down and talk with communities, generally their goal is to live better. I mean, it really is. It doesn't feel more complex than that. And when you're talking with historically marginalized communities, one of the things that we believe slow roll does is expands their ability to even imagine what their community can be like. Because one of the things I realize is often people's reality is trapped in their lived experience, right? Their imagination is trapped in their reality. And so therefore, when we go to communities sometimes and we ask them what they want, what do we want to do? Their last answer is going to be a bike lane, right? And they don't see it. They see us as stealing their parking. They don't see us as making it better, and it just depends on the community. But again, when we have sat down with community, talked about their goals for living better and the aspirations they have for their children, and then we have found a way to make slow rolls and biking as part of a strategy and a solution for achieving those aspirations, we now are seeing this turn. We're seeing a turn right now in terms of what we really are able to achieve in our relationships community. So this shift in intention is really critical, right? This shift in tying the work to the community's aspirations is really critical. And then lastly, is that we really are building it from the inside out, where really building community is the ultimate goal of all the work we do.